Welcome to Detroit. This right here is Belle Isle, a man-made state park, but it's also an island sitting upon Detroit River. And today, while it may not have a racetrack anymore, BPNR has relived this facility, and D2 drivers will have to negotiate their first road course of the season. Whilst qualifying is ongoing, we shall take a look at the point standings heading into this race. Colin Teague sitting at the top of the chart with a 62-point lead over Dragons. That 78 car will be absent tonight, so that can build upon his lead. So it shall be Brandon Carter who will take over that second place spot. He sits third, heading in 67 points behind. Fourth place, Mattis Bells, 90 points behind. He's also not here, and neither is William Gregory. So a lot of absent D2 drivers helping Colin T to build up as big as a points lead as he can, as this will mark the halfway point of the D2 season. Or, actually, let me fact check that before I get too ahead. D2 schedule. No, I'm wrong. So, this is race 5 of 12. And that was 10 races like last season. My apologies. Got a little bit more time left before qualifying, and I presume everyone has set in their lap times. And to no one's surprise, it'll be Liam Viola who will lead us to the green flag from pole position. Joining him in the front row is fellow D1 bushbacker, Dunlop Pratt. Row 2 has Colin Teague and Alexander Hunt. Row 3 has Brian Scarrett and Landon Lyle. Gary McGilvray and Eagerfair in row 4, while Brandon Carter and Thomas Johnson. And we'll make up row 5 with Harry Crawford not setting a lap time. So 11 cars slated to participate in today's events. The pace car driver is also here, that being Landon Laudenbach. So as these drivers make their way to the course that a lot of these use, we might as well also give you a quick rundown of this 2.36 mile facility that used to play host to CART and IMSA before that got abandoned to build a better version of the street course in downtown Detroit, just taking place outside of the Renaissance Center. Get that up shortly. Make sure everything's ready. And we are set to go. So I did a bit of laps myself, kind of just shaking off the rust. And he said give me a car, but as we head down Sunset Drive, we'll blast through the final corner and shall begin the demo lap. Immediately on the brakes at the start finish line as we head into the S curve, making up turns 1 and 2. And assuming you got someone you have to face off at pit exit, you'll have to do a drag race down Central Avenue, the longest straightaway on this circuit, before getting onto the brakes for the 90-degree right-hander of turn number 3. Lots of curve to work with, but not a lot to utilize before you set yourself up for the elbow kink of turn 4. Then you gotta make your way towards left of turn 5, passing by Larter Way. And a bit of a curve straight away in between 5 and 6 before you get onto Strand Drive. Not a straight street, but it still provides you with an interesting corner coming up. Not a particularly straight braking zone into turn number 7. This is where the tricky part of Detroit Belle Isle comes in. Gotta go down the first gear around here, Olive Trader corner, turn number 8. You got set the double ace pet corner of turns 9 and 10 before going back to the right at turn 11. Back on Strand Drive. Got a little bit of a straightaway to work with. Keep yourself a little bit of breathing room, but you gotta maximize these final 2 corners, turns 12 and 13. And back on Sunset Drive, going into the final classified corner of turn 14. And we have completed the lap at Detroit Belle Isle. Again, I like lean juices. I driven this place before in Essex. I was going to win that race before I got taken out by Buddy Campbell's as a lap car. So it is what it is. But I've had some stories now that these drivers are in happy hour, getting their time to practice pit lane entry. William Viola has just completed his suspension in Division 1. He looks to bushwhack this race and win. He won the D1 race at Barbagallo, and it should be easy pickings for the number 27 machine rocking a new livery. He'll use tonight as well as the two Michigan League races later this season. Thomas Johnson, after his suspension, but also only restricted to D2 now, he and Conti are running their throwbacks from Darlington once again, both of them in reference to Fast Nike 8, a OG BPNR driver that shaped out their early beginnings of the BPNR lore. Got Della Pratt also bushwhacking tonight. He had a bit of trouble at Darlington in the D2 race last Wednesday, so maybe a little bit of strive is what he needs to get his ways back. He finished runner-up in yesterday's race at Dorquin, losing to Lonnebeck. Thankfully for the Brad's case, he is only a pace car driver today, but that doesn't mean won't get an easy win, as Viola will be the top talk of the night, I suppose. So if Viola and LaPrat are going to run away with this, who will complete the podium places? I mean, we got scared, but while he is D1, he's also not had the best record of finishing these races, so maybe count him out. These two are likely going to kill each other, much like you just see there. So it's just a matter of consistency. Landon Lyle is actually running this race, so he'll likely be the driver to get that final podium position, assuming he doesn't have an RNG engine failure again. Man, he's had to DNF the last two D1 races because of such poor luck for the 99 crew. Murder. So we got 2 minutes left in happy hour according to Land Allow. So got 3:45. We're set to go at 2 minutes flat. Harry Crawford, he won the most recent D2 race at Darlington. He won 2 of the 3 road courses in last season's D2 adventures, with those being at Barbagallo and Sonoma. So he's got some real knowledge. And there's the dark horse. It'll probably be this driver right here from Australia. Assuming he doesn't get killed. Might as well get those frustrations out of the way while there's still time. Might as well get these set up. I already had the choose gun cam ready to go, which is at least half the track out, but it shall suffice. So in terms of strategy, I believe there's going to be at least one stop. It'll just be a halfway, pit at halfway, just split the race even as you can. It is highly gripped up, and that's an unfortunate part for Detroit. I have seen grip flips happen at the exit turn too, mostly with Hector Garcia while he was practicing. He's not participating, but just something worth noting. If they were yellow, it might be because of a grip flip. And we just got a graveyard of race cars at turn 3, the outskirts of it. But it shall be race time. Make sure everything on my end is functional and we can proceed. So here they are. I think this is on the... Yeah, this is in between 11 and 12. The second half of Strand Drive is where they're queued up. So we should go green very shortly. Small field, which is probably a given it is a road course, but it's also a road course that not a lot of drivers have notes.
Drivers, start your engines!
It's more BPNR trying something different, but I like it. Today's race is going to be 26 laps. The 31 laps you see on the ticker are for overtime purposes. It'll be cup physics and 2x wear. Yes, I did check it this time, unlike yesterday's race. So 2x wear, pace car will head in. The field is in control of the normal D1 drivers of Viola and LaPrade. If they head into the non-existent restart zone, we are underway in Detroit. Viola clear out LaPrade, and those two have given us up a big cushion. It'll be nearly 3 wide for third place, but it'll just back it down to 2 wide. Scarab being really aggressive back there trying to take 5th place away from Landau, but he gets on the brakes just enough to where he can avoid contact. Heading into turn 5, majority of field towards the back. Viola remains in control through 6th and down Strand Drive. He extends his lead over LaPrade. Colin T up to 3rd. And into this tricky braking zone. Gonna catch out a lot of these cars, I do believe, when the long run comes in. Last smoke you see, these drivers getting really aggressive on throttle. They have the grip into their favor to be able to do so. Back here, battle, I believe this is for 7th between McGilvery and Scarab, but that got settled. Got people bouncing off the wall in between 12 and 13. That is one place where you do not want to make a mistake. Well, Viola leads the opening lap. It'll be side by side for 4th place into turn 1. Alexander Hunt trying to defend against Landau after his mistake. A bit of a push, but he lets him go this time. LaPrade has caught himself a little bit of speed, only 6/10 off this opening lap, but it's still within striking distance of the number 27. He's not letting him get away. Check back here, we got Scarab warping in front of McGilvery, so McGilvery's trying to play easy with him until it gets annoying, I presume. And then allow with speed down Strand Drive, trying again. He looks to the right, but not close enough. It does not allow overtaking opportunities through this section between 7 and 11. So just play part of the train until he can set up through turn 11. As we complete 2 laps here at Detroit Belle Isle. Most of the vehicles are already settled down. Viola has the race lead. Started from pole position, has led both laps. Pratt hangs toe in 2nd. Colin Teague in 3rd. Alexander Hunt's P4 with Landau in the top 5. Gap side by side for 6th down Central Avenue. You go for a driver's right. You get the preferred line through turn 3 here, and he defends brilliantly against the 71, only for a switchback to occur. And that's something that Eager wanted to see. He's gonna get forced up to that wall that's sticking out on exit of turn number 4. So it'll be Scarrett who gets P6. We're playing car between him and McGilvery's for that 3-car scrap. And another 3-car scrap that's formed up. Collins gets fallen into the clutches to Alexander Hunt, but that's before the 49 car locks stop horrifically at turn number 7. A tricky braking zone has already caught his first victim. And he's gonna lose all that notion and let that allow go for a P4. But that will likely force the pink and bright blue car of Alexander Hunt to pit earlier than intended. Tattoo broken off, pretty much. I hate repeating myself, but both of them actually this time it's just tied their fastest lap. It's only 3 laps. And Dunlop Pratt is just wanting to make sure he's not at the second step of the podium for 2 days straight. And at least with this time round, the lap times are dead even. So it's just a matter of long run pace. On board with the 99 of Flannel out as he has a little bit of a run going down the first part of Strand Drive. But it's not close enough to make an overtake. Just playing with this food right now. Colleting never been particularly, I wouldn't say bad at road courses, just that I legit. He's just in his own realm most of the time, so for him to be P3 early on after a great qualifying session, it's just a matter of keeping this track position and make them use up their tires. We do have one retirement, I believe. No. So, I thought Harry Crawford was going to race, but turns out he won't. So it's only 10 cars that are participating, so guaranteed top 10 for everyone. Okay, Lando tries the outside of turn 3 on entry. He's gonna get shoved out now. Nearly hitting the tire barrier in between 3 and 4. And down ladder way. It gets a little loose out 5 and hitting that curb. Petit smacks the wall, so does Lyle, but he's got the speed this time. He's gonna go side by side down Strand Drive into turn 7. Oh, that's 51's ankles are broken, and Landon Lyle will be up to the podium places. Arizona Hunt's P5. We saw him a lap ago, not being able to take turn 7 the way he intended, locking up the brakes, and it's already feeling the side effects of those worn tires. He said at 128.6 this time. Well, the most recent time, we'll see this time down the start finish line. 25, so already a second worth of fall off. And that's something for these drivers to keep note of. When it comes to gripped up tracks like this, you just want to go as fast as you can, but if the I-9 is set up to be tire degrading, it'll catch a lot of these drivers, so perhaps with these two being so well versed in Division 1 on Tuesday nights, they've run this course before in many leagues and have figured out the correct balance, especially on gripped up tracks. Dunlop Prime is actually faster this most recent time, and 27.5 for Viola compared to Dunn's 27.1, so... and that's already a second off of their fastest lap, so... I wonder if by pushing, they're already hitting that... that fall-off. Or maybe it was just a side-by-side thing, because now they have gone back to the 26s, 26.8 and 26.7 respectively for the top two. Everyone's back here are nowhere near close to matching them, except for Lane Lau in third, who has just put in his personal best, a 26.876. And Conti trying to follow him, he's at 27. Hunt with the 28. Oh, that's a bad kiss to the tie barriers for McGilvery's, and he's got driver's side damage. Running 8th place. And just trying his best to stay with this group of cars, but he was just finding the limits and pushing them. See a lock up, that was from 71 of Scared, trying anything to get by the 49 car, and that's one way to do it. He punts him, only for a 49 to blink out, and he is back, still in front of Scarrett. Well, near contact there, that's between Icavero and the dark blue Red Bull machine versus Cameron McGilvery's and the Bass Pro Shops livery. Both of them pounce off the wall in between 12 and 13. And this 96 going to get it again at the exit of 13 just for extra measure. I mean, it's hard to pass here, but it's especially harder when you got cars are warping. Just not in your playbook to deal with these random notions you see, whether it be in this game or any other game. It's just a tough thing to do. And as McGilvery's spinning while we were looking at that, so just bad gone to worse, and now Brandon Carter has a chance to get up to 8th place. Check back in with the leaders as we are 8 laps into the scheduled 26 here at Detroit Belle Isle. Blaine Viola has led every lap so far. Dunlop Pratt hanging in close proximity, 2nd place. Lane Lau will be 3rd place, a little ways back, that being 7.7 seconds after the most recent scoring loop. Colin Teague in 4th. Got a battle for 5th here still between Hunt and Scarrett. And cutting as much as he can. He practically corner cutting turn 12 there. And trying to get every inch of speed out of this Chevrolet Camaro. Right just behind these two is Icavera in 7th place. And kind of sounds about for 8th now, when McGilvery's has fallen to the clutches of Brandon Carter as they work their way through turns 1 and 2. Little sideways for 70 or 96 rather, gives the 101 more momentum down Central Avenue. Gonna look outside of turn 3. And McGilvery is able to defend, but going to try a crossover. Carter is, but to no avail. He's got the space this time into turn 5 down Lauderway. And 96 smoking those rears, nearly clipping Carter into turn 6. But Brandon Carter up to 8th. Oh, and that's an engine failure for the 49 of Alexander Hunt. He must have clipped the tire barrier. Yeah, that thing is smoking. Take a quick look. Well, I'm gonna have to rewind here. So, the 49 car already with worn tires having to defend against Scarrett and Vera. We'll see And it just goes. That 49 car just blew up. Trying to onboard before we turn back live. In second gear too, and that's like low RPM, so it just blew up on him. Really unfortunate. So that battle for 5th place is now up between Scarrett and Vera, who, well, Scarrett is looking to be faster. He has been inconsistent with these taps of the wall. Well, Vera has his own fair share of damage, but has been keeping pace with that 71 car despite it. And yep, 49 punt confirmed. It was an RNG failure. I suppose that bad luck for Orlando Lau has passed over. Or does the game have other intentions? Trying to, I suppose, give Lando Lau false hope in the number 99 car. We don't know. Oh, bad smack for Scarrett. He's losing that back end of the car. Out of 13. He's popping every wall he could. And turn to not a place where you want to get sideways. It gives Eager Farah some slipstream into turn number 3 here. He peeks inside. Not close enough. In regards to the leaders, they have separated themselves. And with Dunlop Pride losing half a second this most recent time, as we have completed 10 laps out of the scheduled 26. In regards to falloff, I do want to say it's at least a second. I haven't seen too many people during practice practicing their long runs. So the fact that after 10 laps, which is right around the pit window, and we're approaching that, they're only around 2 or 1 second of falloff actually. Viola this time being 1.3 seconds off his fastest lap. The Prad closer to 2 seconds off, so that number 3 machine is just not added these past 2 days. See the rest of the field. At these two struggling back here. Thomas Johnson, he's been by himself ever since the race started. He sits 9th place, and those are the only 9 cars remaining on the race course. BPNR cockpit, just insider info for Viola as he makes his way out of 11. Just controlling the throttle to not have his rear end kick out too much. He likes the rotation, but too much of it can spin him out. You just hear the engine at work down Central Avenue. Getting every inch of speed out of the number 27 car. Right now, he is leading his race, leading every lap. Brandon Carter has just pitted, so he is 1 lap down, just in front of Dunlop Prad. Might as well go on board with him. Actually, just use cockpit again, just to see what he experiences down into this technical section of turns 7 through 11. It's much like yesterday, where I just believe that the number 3 just can't get the rotation down. So at Duke Quinn, it's more prominent to have that rear end kick out as much as you would want to, but without going completely around. But he'll be the first car down the pit lane trying to take any advantage he can get over Viola and trying to outrun the number 27 and pass him. It's just not in that playbook as he nearly gets hit by McGarry there. Close call there. Everyone has spread themselves out as pit stops have begun to cycle through. And there goes LaPrade out of the pit lane. Officially halfway through the Detroit Belle Isle race, BPNR Division number 2. So if you feel you've been leading every lap and just had no issue regarding LaPrade, it might have been a little bit scary at the start, but ultimately you checked out. It's like you could respond and just continue to run away, but if he has enough life in those tires, and if his fuel will allow him to, which it won't, he could have stayed out a lot more laps to continue building that advantage, but he's going to come down the pit lane only one lap later than LaPrade. And speaking of which, he's back here amongst traffic, that being Thomas Johnson he's trying to overtake at turn 11. So perhaps will this hinder any advances LaPrade hoped to get by undercutting? As Eager hits down the pit lane, we'll see where the 27 comes out. He's leaving the pit lane, and he remains in front. But I'm gonna say roughly the same gap he had prior to LaPrade's pit entry, as Simon Johnson terrible smack towards the wall at turn 1, driver's left side. That has gone terrible. Daniel has damage. And his driver's side is caved in. And that's something to note. If he were to have anyone battling with him, he kind of ill-handling race car, much like most of the field, but right now he's by himself in 3rd place and has been for most of the race. The first lockup I've seen for Viola, that was in turn 8, so nothing nothing much to it. I believe the field have cycled through. And well, Daniel's still on track. He's the last car expecting to pit. This is lap 16 for him. He's not going to gain much out of this unless there were to be a caution within this one lap. So this is just a gamble for Daniel. Hasn't won a race in D1 this season. And using up one of his bushwhacking starts at a road course, but granted that there's not a lot of cars here anyway, so you might as well help with attendance. And that's Colin Teague slowing down. That he was 5th place. The 510 has blown up. This is the 2nd failure of the race. We saw one with alright, forgot who. My bad. It was Alexander Hunt. So the 2nd retirement of this race. goes to our league owner and winner at Ricky Raceway. It just shot off in the middle of Central Avenue. And now he's in the pit lane being towed back. He is at the far end of the track, in between 3 and 4. And that'll likely be a retirement. It's really unfortunate for the points leader. As Lionel leaves the pits, completing the pit cycle. It'll be Will Viola taking back the race lead. It'll be LaPrade in P2. Lionel still comes out in 3rd. Ryan Skerritt in 4th place. Ikervera P5. Colin Teague is in the pit lane, but still scored at 6. I don't know if that'll be correct, though. Yeah, Brandon Carter, who's looking to take away that position. He is 7th, and for Thomas Johnson and 8th, they'll need another lap before getting by the 510 as well. So we're down to 7 drivers once the Colin Teague machine calls it a day officially. Which is really baffling. We do have the extra retirement of Karen McGilvery. That's just a retirement and not related to any engine trouble, unlike the other two. Well, there hasn't been much on-track action in terms of overtakes and just dive bombs apart from the start. It just hasn't really been much of a war zone, which, if you look at all these damaged race cars out here, is a bit ironic. And I suppose it's a little bit of irony too, because from my research, Belle Isle used to be a war prison for the in between like 1780 through 82, I believe it was. So war prisoners would be kept here on the island before they were shuffled out. I don't know what point I was trying to make there, but regardless, it just need to talk about, well, there's nothing really going on out here as we are within 10 laps to go. Coming to, this will be 8 to go this lap of the scheduled 26 laps here in Detroit Belle Isle. William Viola continuing to lead over Dun LaPrade and allowed Comfy in third place, Skerritt in 4th, Ikervera P5, Brandon Carter in 6th, and Thomas Johnson P7. 3 retirements, that being Colin Teague, Cam McGilvery, and Alexander Hunt. And those are the 10 cars that have participated. 7 of them continue as so. I don't really know what to call this section that Viola's going through now. I keep calling it the technical section, but there isn't really an official name given to it. At turn 7, there is the Belle Isle Casino, and at 9, 10, turns 9 and 10, there is the James Scott Memorial fountain. That's if you went straight at turn 9. And the fountain would be there. Not present in this version in NR2003, but just something worth to note. From the Pran, he just, even though he only paid it 1 lap later than Viola, he's still losing time. He only set at 27.3 compared to Viola's 26.5, so LaPrade just hasn't been hitting his stride lately. I know I praise him too much because he has 4 wins in D1, but with a win count that high after only 10 races, it's kind of a more of a given. Winning nearly half this season, you expect LaPrade to be winning races left and right. Yet he sits on top of a D1 standings solely because of his consistency, as while Viola nearly gets in trouble with Brandon Carter trying to put him 1 lap down. After his intent wreck at 5 flags in Division 1, he had to serve a 5-race suspension. But he'll be back to compete in the final 2 regular season races over there, beginning at Rockingham. And with being out of a BPNR car for a little while, he's trying to relearn the ropes, I suppose. Although he hasn't had any trouble on IFAR. And that's the only other league I at least keep up with Viola's activities. There's also DSRA on Sundays, where he also isn't skipping a beat over there. So I suppose with Viola, he kind of just wants to run this race because it's one of those tracks that no one really anticipates to race on. It provides a fun challenge. It's just one of those road courses that's out of the norm from most leagues. And Viola's just taking this with stride, as he has led, I believe, all but 1 lap. He led from pole, but 1 lap by missing out on is because of Landon Lyles staying out. And Viola puts Thomas Johnson 1 lap down as well, so both of them, as I try to look at them, smack the wall in between 12 and 13. And Viola only 2 points outside the top 20 in Division 1 to make the chase. He has 2 wins in the year, including Barbagallo, so it's no surprise that he's doing well here. And just running consistent in D1 like he's had been doing, he'll get into the chase. As we hit 5 laps to go of the scheduled 26 laps here in Detroit Belle Isle, with Dunlaprat continuing to losing time, 21 versus a 26-6, so I've already had a lot of stories to talk about. Had a lot to talk about with these two. 3rd place ain't loud. He just had his seasons. Didn't really do too much of notes. That's really all about it. Igor Vera 4th place is in the pit lane once again, so I don't know who would take over that position. If I could find 5th place. He's out of the race. Brian Scarett's also out of the race with an engine failure. And Igor Vera 4th place. He's just going to go 1 lap down now because of William Viola crossing the start finish line. There he is. He's not going to be able to stay on the lead lap. So that means the top 3 are they going to be the only cars left on the racetrack? I want to see what happened with Scarrett. I think he just gave up. Like, he just parked. He was already spinning out on the front straightaway. He just parked it. This was lap 21 as he went across the line. So this happened 2 laps ago. So retirement number 4 for a 10-car field at a road course with relatively experienced drivers. This is a surprise to have this many DNFs. And just the names I'm just trying to read down. Scarrett. Yeah, Alexander Hunt and Colin Teague, both of them with engine failures, and Cam McGalley is also calling quits, so it's 2 for 2 on mechanicals versus retirements, as much as it saddens me. So I suppose with Viola's case, it's better to have fewer cars on the track, because this removes the likelihood of overtime. He has hit 3 laps to go, and the only other car wanting a yellow flag is likely Iker Vera, who's actually keeping pace with him. He's at 156, and that's because he just got out of the pit lane. We'll see how his lap time is on fresh tires compared to Viola, who pitted on lap 14. Never mind, he spins out. I feel bad. Okay, I didn't mean to laugh. So any potential that 61 of Iker Vera had has just been washed away, likely because of me jinxing him. And speaking of spins, that is Thomas Johnson. And going for a spin, this was at the exit of turn 5. Hops the curve, gets too much, and that's all she wrote. And facing backwards for quite a while, had to let Lau go before he can turn around. So with 2 laps to go, when Viola has just been extending his lead, it is 10-second lead over Dunlop-Pratt. And it'll be likely another 15 seconds to land Lau 3rd place. We'll see here. 25 seconds between Lau and Viola. Meanwhile, Forth and Back are lapped. So just those 3 on the lead lap. 3 more cars still running, with 1 or 2 laps down depending on who you're referring to, and 4 DNFs. Through 12 and 13, you'll see the white flag to complete this race. Final lap here in Detroit. And it's just been the usual William Viola masterclass. 1 pole award, has led nearly every lap. And he's just been setting sail, making sure Dunlop-Pratt is not visible in his mirrors. The rest of the field had their fair share of mistakes and a lot of battle scars on their previous race cars, but they'll at least make it to the finish line. Dunlop-Pratt, the only other clean car on the track, just hasn't been able to keep up with William in the slightest. He was suspended in Division 1. He'll return this next Tuesday. He'll go through 12 and 13 and make his way down Sunset Bend. I forgot the white flag graphic, goddammit. But through Sunset Drive, William Viola is going to win in Detroit, Belle Isle. And what has been pretty much a snoozer for the other drivers. But that's just one of those dominant wins that's going to occur every so often. Pratt finishes second once again. So 2 days in a row, the number 3 has to finish runner-up. Then Lyle third as he kills himself. And he'll be the final car to finish on the lead lap. And maybe I don't got any more comments because, I mean, it's Viola. Not that I don't like him, but it's just one of those wins that's really expectant out of a race like this. Yet he continues to deliver. So take a look at the finishing order. Only 10 cars participated. We got Viola winning the race, 14 seconds over the Pratt, then allowed finishing third, and the final car to finish on lead lap. Eager Vera, fourth place, Brandon Carter, fifth place, Brandon Johnson in sixth, and the final car to finish the race. Meanwhile, Ryan Scared, where did I get TJ from? Colin Teague, 8th place. Karen McGarry is in 9th, and Alexander Hunt in 10th. As much as snoozer that is, I still had um, still have some favoritism with this track. Does seem anyone wants to interview as well. Epper could probably wait on Viola. He's still doing burnouts. It's just flexing every moment he's gotta give in front of Detroit. And he has finally finished. There's that. Multiple things to talk about, I guess. Well, I say multiple, but there's really only one thing. But Colin Teague DNFing his hopes of extending his points lead are not going to happen as much as he would like. A lot of people were absent, but not allowed to necessarily hinder him. Then again, it's only 10 people. He's gonna extend his points lead no matter what, but Brandon Carter finishing this race, he will claw into that lead after gaining second place away from the absent Dragons. And it's at least your top 3 in points. It's just from speculation that actually what would happen. But that shall wrap up tonight's activities. Tomorrow, CCRS has their season finale from Las Vegas, Giambononi champion, but there's only one trophy left to hand out. And who gamble maxes the most? I have no idea. Friday is our next stream here. Will be the Budweiser Cup Series at Texas Motor Speedway. I'm told is the old variant where the banking is even and not the newer version. So we'll see how that turns out. 9 p.m. Gnarl heads to Willow Springs in California. That'll be streamed on G Sphere Media, 10 p.m. While Essex has their Crown Jewel event at the famous Indianapolis Motor Speedway at 11:55. Then Saturday, I'm presuming IFAR is off because they have just concluded their regular season. Gives their chasers time to remake their liveries into the chase branding. So that gives OSCC their headline weekend at New Hampshire, where their race title is literally Lobster. It's just a lobster emoji. And next time for BPNR Division 2, they'll head to North Wilkesboro. So technically there are 2 throwback races, that's according to plan during the off season. And I might as well also bring this up before I forget. The entry list for the BPNR All-Star Race Monday has been confirmed. There is an open, but for most of these drivers, the regulars, they have locked themselves in. So it makes up of all champions as I read them. Then allowed back, Jolene Sims, Hannah Sebastian Kukulan, Kirsten Bell, Alexander Gonzalez Green, and Harry Crawford. As well, next people in line are the race winners from this season, Reptile Aziz, William Viola, Dylan Pratt, and Nicholas Bedimlik. Then they also threw in more race winners. This is from last season. Aiden McCrow, Joshua Clements, and hey look, there's me. I'm not doing that race, but it would have been fun to run around, map around up at the Horny 60. And they also threw in holiday winners from this most recent winter, which makes up Thomas Troxel, Ryan Skerritt, Cole Rodriguez, Daniel Rodriguez, Stevie Gibson, and Jelani Howell, as well as finally the prior All-Star winners of Matt Wells, Colin Teague, Dakota Vega, and Hector Garcia. Garcia being the person to blame for the excursions to Down Under, which will be the next stop for BPNR. As for me, the next stop will be at Texas for the Budweiser Cup Series. So until Friday, thank you for watching.